Ghana Means Business, brought to you by GOIL. GOIL, good energy.
Ghana Means Business. Your story, our message.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to part 3 and the concluding episode with our interview with Professor Kwame Karikari. Prof, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much.
Ghana Means Business. Your story, our message.
Every now and again, GOIL makes good things happen. This time, GOIL has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with GOIL Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. GOIL has that sorted. GOIL, good energy.
The ARBFS Bank, we told ourselves that we should be the most effective and the most efficient service provider to the rural and community. We need to serve the rural and community banks to be able to serve their customers.
ARB Apex Bank, with a network of 144 rural and community banks, RCBs, make up the largest network of banks in Ghana. We are everywhere, and so the preferred choice. Visit an RCB in your community. ARB Apex Bank, together for progress.
Ghana Means Business. Your story, our message.
Prof, as a people, we have our cultures, we have our values. And just like you said in P, a baby so or say, Ubu muchia wakwa on the wadai nwajoso. Meaning to say that with humility and respect, you can get the highest honors that you deserve. And I think somehow our media space has lost that, whereby it is more of an imposition, it is more of an insult or vindictive-based kind of journalism, especially those media houses that you alluded to. And tragically, they seem to own the airwaves and also the whole media space. And not that you're saying that all media practitioners are bad. You cited examples of good journalists and other houses that are obeying and respecting the protocols and etiquettes. But for me, the most important issue or question is, Prof, what kind of reforms? Because in the absence of reforms or regulations, this conversation would continue ad nauseum and nothing would happen 30, 40 years from now. And if anything, probably will escalate. And the radio, you know what happened in radio. So this is not just a topical issue that we should treat lightly.
You see, I'm saying that if we want regulation by established institutions, the National Media Commission is chief among them. The NCA is also another agency, but the NCA's mandate covers certain technical things and so on. Why do I emphasize the role of the political parties and their leaders in helping to improve the situation? Because no matter what reforms that any of these agencies put in place, those political leaders will violate them. As I have said, The problem is not with those commercial or community or state-owned media which are set up to do professional work. Commercial stations like Joy FM, City FM, Peace FM, as I've mentioned, and so many of them around the country. And I know these media houses around the country. They are not guilty of these things. Wherever you find these aberrations, they are the stations owned by the political party leaders. Now, we are all in this country when people on a radio station owned by leaders of a political party insulted the Chief Justice, the Supreme Court, and were accordingly punished on contempt by the Supreme Court. What happened? The leaders of that political party mobilized their members and demanded that their president at that time free these people from the clutches of the law. Now, these same politicians have re-employed some of these same people who are perpetrating the same things that sent them before the law court. So what can any regulatory agency do? And on the other side of the political terrain, you have a similar experience of radio and TV stations owned by leaders and financiers of political parties who respect no rules by any regulatory agency. So, and you see, the problem with the political parties concerning many of these cultural, social values go beyond media. But we are talking about media, and so we will deal with that. So I'm saying that we should not expect those commercial stations, those community stations, those state-owned media are doing the right thing. They can be regulated. If the Joy FM, City FM, Peace FM, or some station in Bolga commits some error, and the National Media Commission summons them, they will appear and obey the rulings of the National Media Commission. None of these radio stations owned by these political parties will even honor summons by the National Media Commission. Tragedy. You see, so the problem, yes, we should put it squarely before the public must demand on Akufo-Addo, discipline those people who own the radio stations who are supporting your campaign. They should demand on John Mahama when they go around in these villages, when the chiefs, when they meet them, many chiefs raise this problem. But I think that the chiefs and the people in the communities, wherever Akufo-Addo or John Mahama goes, they should demand specifically discipline such and such radio station owned by such and such a person in your party. And I think perhaps something like that may begin to make some impact. Otherwise, forget it. The National Media Commission can't do anything. The NCA, all the NCA can do is to use its rules to close down a station that they claim does not pay these fees or this or that. Otherwise, no regulation will work when these political parties behave and believe that they are above the law.
Ghana means business. Your story, our message.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Go Super XP Run 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Go Super XP Run 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Go Super XP Run 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Go Super XP Run 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. GOIL has that sorted. GOIL, good energy.
The ARBFS Bank, we told ourselves that we should be the most effective and the most efficient service provider to the rural and community. We need to serve the rural and community banks to be able to serve their customers.
ARB Apex Bank, with a network of 144 rural and community banks, RCBs, make up the largest network of banks in Ghana. We are everywhere and so the preferred choice. Visit an RCB in your community. ARB Apex Bank, together for progress.
Every now and again, GOIL makes good things happen. This time, GOIL has introduced Super XP Run 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Go Super XP Run 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Go Super XP Run 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Go Super XP Run 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Go Super XP Run 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. GOIL has that sorted. GOIL, good energy.
Ghana means business. Your story, our message.
Finally, Prof, the trajectory of our democracy. Is this democracy, as enshrined by our Constitution, is it working and is it sustainable for us as Ghanaians, as envisaged by Dr. Kwame Karikari?
Well, first of all, let me say that the kind of political system we are trying to practice now was not what Kwame Karikari envisaged.
I'm looking at our democracy.
Yeah, but that's
and
what I'm
where
saying.
Kwame Karikari, I'm not talking about the Pan-Africanism
No,
or
but
what
you are
Kwame
talking
Karikari in
about
terms
the
of. I'm looking
constitutional
at our current form of politics.
Yeah.
Our current form of democracy.
Yeah.
And the constitution that we have, that also gives it legal credence.
Yeah.
On the one hand, and the vision of Dr. Kwame Karikari, as in Africans, our cultures, our traditions, our values, and what we should aspire to become. Does our current form of democracy, is it leading us into that path? Or, I'm not talking so much about the political systems, I'm looking at
our development.
Yes, our development, our industrialization, our manufacturing, our self-sustenance, our liberty.
Yeah.
So where are we going with this form of politics or democracy that we have today? Is it taking us down the right path? Or at a certain point in time, we must pause and come to the realization that this is not going to work, this is not working, and perhaps we need to have a more Afrocentric form of democracy that mimics our traditional values and customs, that embraces the tradition of chieftaincy and ensures that within our governance systems, it is truly democratic and not a borrowed concept from the West, which may be alien to all of us.
Let me say that we've made some progress. Yes, we shouldn't deny that. For instance, the kind of political system we say we are practicing now makes it possible for you and I to do many things without government arbitrarily putting you in jail, without some politician arbitrarily denying you your rights as a citizen. And I think that's very, very important for Africans. You see, for me, why the issue of human rights, the liberties of the individual, and the freedoms of the communities, why these are so vital is that we are a people who for centuries have been denied even our being as human beings. Slavery, colonialism, and even today, the whole question of Black Lives Matter. Today, Nigeria is on fire because the police system is so brutish that a young person born in Nigeria cannot hope to get home without the police harassing them. All over Africa, you know, we're going through these. So liberties, freedoms, human rights, for me, are so fundamental for Africans. So if there is a political system, such as in Ghana now, where if you say A or B, and the government in office doesn't like it, they can't touch you, they can't do anything about you or against you. That's very vital. How then do we use this freedom to move forward? We have parliaments with political parties that should be debating the way we want to go forward. Now, the question, where are we going, whether we will get there, whether the path we are choosing is right and so on, it's a question of us looking at the social classes that manage our affairs. But as far as I'm concerned, a number of issues we don't address at all in order for us to move forward. For instance, take our political class. The class of people who make up our political parties and who must lead us. Whether it is this party or that party, there are certain things common among all of them that tell me that sometimes it tells me, must I vote at all? What are some of these things? What are the aspirations of the people who go into parliament, who become ministers, who should be guiding us, dealing with the policies? Are they people who are ready to make the kinds of personal sacrifices that will make us go forward? You see, because let's take, for instance, this very important, this very fundamental and honorable policy that Akufo-Addo enunciates, Ghana Beyond Aid. For me, Ghana Beyond Aid is so fundamental because it means Ghana that is independent, managing its own resources so that those resources elevate the people, free the people from poverty, free the energies, the intellectual, technical, physical, whatever energies the youth have to move us forward. But Akufo-Addo has enunciated this. They've come out with a program or a report. I haven't read it, so I don't know what's in there. But however beautifully crafted that policy, are the people in his own party, the people who are flaunting wealth, party leaders who are going on TV flaunting gold, what do you call it? What do they call it? Gold bars. Are these the kinds of people who are going to make that sacrifice to get us beyond aid? Where is the leadership to make the kinds of sacrifices that young people will emulate and say that, okay, we are all going to go hungry because we are planting and we will all benefit from the harvest. I don't see that from the class of people who are ruling us and who are the people in the different political parties. You will occasionally have a visionary like a Akufo-Addo. And I believe that from the things he pronounced before coming to office, they were marks of a vision. Free education, how can you fault it? What Ghana is today is because of Kwame Nkrumah's positive, progressive educational policies. For instance, the factories he built have all been sold to, people. But the education, then also there are some fundamental things about development that in Africa here, our governments don't deal with. They are not even interested. They are afraid of these issues because those issues are cultural and they are so complex. And yet, leadership is the ability to deal with very complex, in fact, very frightening issues. And that is the question of language, the African language. You see, as Africans, Hugh Masekela once said something, the late South African musician. He said that one day people will point to Africans and refer to them and say, they used to be called Africans. It means we will still be black, but we will be nobody. Because if we say we are Africans, that identity represents something. But by then we'll have lost all of that. And the first thing we are losing is our languages. Look around you. And no government in Ghana is addressing the question of language. We are the only people on this earth, that is Africans, who don't use our own language to educate our young, who don't use our own language in our mass media, who don't use our own language in governance. You go to parliament, there's not one Ghanaian language being used there. You go to our courts, we say rule of law, democracy. And yet, the language of justice is not language that the majority understand. What kind of democracy is it that, or what kind of justice is it that I don't understand the law that you are using to judge me? You see, so take the books we read. None is in our languages. But what is interesting also about our founding fathers, Kwame Nkrumah, J.B. Dankwa, and so on and so forth. The interesting thing is that all of these people wrote some publications in their languages. Kwame Nkrumah, for instance, started to translate the Bible into Nzema. J.B. Dankwa wrote plays and other theses in Twi. You also have others, and so on and so forth. So we've lost something. We are not approaching ourselves from ourselves. So on that count, I wonder what kind of development we are talking about. You see, the economic things and so on, it is possible that we can build industries, we can build factories, we can do this and that in somebody else's language, but it will all be very hollow. It won't have any content, because by then we will have abandoned all who we are and what we have. Because the more and more you lose your language, the more and more you are moving away from where you came from. So one, whether we'll go forward or not depends on the moral, ethical, social political commitment of the class of people who form our governments, who form our political parties. And then, of course, addressing the fundamental cultural question of language. Without a certain caliber of leadership, if going into politics is all about owning a big house and a big car, I find that so banal that then that person is not cut for leadership, for public service. A big car, a big house, that's all why you are going into politics. Any cocaine dealer can afford those things. Any criminal, any armed robber who is lucky enough not to be shot can steal and buy those things, or can steal that car. So that's not, we all must live and work for comfort. But in Africa here,
legacy-minded leaders,
to get into politics and your interest is to live more comfortably than the masses, oh, please, you don't belong here. Maybe look for somewhere else to do what you want to do. But that's the reality we live in. Whether it's MPP, NDC, CPP, all of these many people who want to stand for this independent, what are their aspirations? But the same old banal material things, big car, big houses, big foreign accounts. It leads to stealing and undermining of the integrity of our independence and our being. So whether we'll go forward or not depends on the commitment of the social classes who form our political parties. And then we need to have a certain consensus among the political parties that this is what we want to do. These A, B, C, D things, there are no compromises on them. There's no debate about them. But when you want to become the party in power, it is the methods that we must all now debate about. But look at us in Ghana now. There is nothing that the two big political parties agree on. There's nothing. One wants to go here, the other one knows that that path is correct. They will do everything to stymie that party. We can't move forward if we don't have basic common agreement on some fundamental things about who we are, where we want to go, and how we want to go.
Professor Kwame Karikari, I knew this would not be a disappointment. Ghana owes you a lot. Ghana is indebted to you. And your presence, your recounting of history, and your foresight is indeed worthwhile. Ghana Means Business is grateful for your time and for your immense contribution that has enriched and made the show a better show. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much for having me on your program.
Thank you.